Hello, welcome to a video that most likely will be the first to second, maybe third video for this figure here. If you have not seen one of my videos before, I use a cell phone camcorder. I can't stop it, so unfortunately I have to go straight through, and there's so much stuff to show with this guy and that I want to talk about and everything. So that's why this might be a two-parter, or it might be a three-part video. So anyway, now that we've gotten that out of the way, this is a video for Zartan Master of Disguise from G.I. Joe Pursuit of Cobra, Wave 2. Pursuit of Cobra is a line that came out in 2010, a year or so after the G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra movie came out, kind of as a filler line between this and the next movie, hopefully. So we're going to first look at the packaging here for Zartan, his figure. So we have a Cobra symbol right there, Zartan's name, Master of Disguise. Then we have a nice portrait of the character Zartan. And if you're not yet seeing them right there, you get drawn, I think, to this figure, whether you collect G.I. Joe or you're a kid for the first time seeing this figure. I think that draws you in with the green eyes. Then you see he has kind of a black tattoo, and then we'll talk about this later, but you kind of see what looks like more circular tattoos, but I think there's more to it, and we'll talk about that later. But I wanted to show that because on the figure it doesn't really show too well, and I don't think it's just my camera. Then you go across the top here and you have the new G.I. Joe logo. It's been updated, but it still kind of has a classic feel to it. And then we have a portrait of Zartan's bird of prey here. Some people are calling it a parrot, possibly a hawk, but if I'm not mistaken, pardon me, this is a raptor, and we'll get into that in just a second here. But show the rest of this. This is a Cobra symbol again, and then the number 1010, which is Zartan's figure number. And the thing with the raptor, why that's kind of interesting, is there's a lot of people that when they saw the hood on this Zartan figure and the tans and browns of this figure as well, automatically, and myself included, were drawn to the fact that this could, if you're a customizer or even if you're not, you could see this as the G.I. Joe Cobra character Raptor. So it's fitting that he does come with a Raptor, and if you can customize, or you want to learn more about Raptor or whatever, do like a yojo.com and look up the character and his file card, or you can Google it and possibly even bring up some pictures of the customized work that people have done to turn this Zartan figure into the Raptor character. And then you'll see that there's a rather large rectangular bubble. It's usually what this part is called. It's very nice. It shows all the accessories that Zartan comes with. The only ones you kind of have to look for a little bit are the stand that's down there with his name on it. Then there's a little catalog. Then we've got a little, well, not really little, but his black gun there. Show you a little more that way. And then we have a few stickers here. Some stuff to say about the stickers is this one's removable if you really need to, but I don't think it interferes with seeing the figure and its accessories. The Hasbro one is on the inside, so it has to stay there. Your new TV network should be live as this is being filmed. It doesn't have the G.I. Joe cartoon Renegades yet, as far as I know, on it. There's been some different reports of people saying it's supposed to be on November 10th. It might be around Thanksgiving. It originally was thought that it was going to be on 10-10-10, as you'll hear me say in some of my previous videos. But it turns out the network only launched at that time, and Renegades, as the time of this filming, still has not been launched. Should maybe be able to get this in your area if you don't already have it. I think you have to pay a little bit more though in order to get it as part of your package. I'm hoping that since it is a TV network and it's supposed to be a joint venture between Hasbro and what used to be Discovery Kids channel, hopefully those two being pretty big, we'll be able to do like the other networks and have these cartoons and other shows on their website, or hopefully these things will make it to YouTube and not be torn down. So I think that's pretty much all I can really think of right now in the front of the box. So we'll go to the back of the box, and we have Zartan's number again and his name and the Cobra symbol. And then in this little red box we have a description of what G.I. Joe is for this line. G.I. Joe is the code name for a special operations unit of highly trained men and women. Their purpose is to defend the world against Cobra, a ruthless organization with criminal tentacles in every nation on Earth. And then if we move over, you see that there's this mission in the Pursuit of Cobra. They're pursuing them in the desert because there's 4 different environments for this line of figures. You have the Arctic, jungle, desert, and city. So for the desert battle, we have G.I. Joe fights back as Cobra unleashes its new weapon, the Cobra Hiss Tank. This is later in the storyline of the figures, because at the beginning they're pursuing Cobra, supposedly, if you want to follow it, after the end of G.I. Joe, the Rise of Cobra. So once they've found out who Cobra is, now they're pursuing him. But at least for the storyline, they were tracking him down and trying to stop him from building this ultimate weapon. And here you can see right there that is the Hiss Tank version 5, and so it's already been built, and obviously the Dusty is aware of it, and I'm thinking Sandstorm is possibly this guy right here. Still don't know if we're going to get that figure or not, but it could also be the driver for the Ostriker right here. So at least those 2 or 3 know about the Hiss Tank right here. So then, I was saying this in the beginning of some of my other videos, they didn't really do the traditional thing of showing the card back, where it would show the different figures in the line. And this is what I'm talking about. Try and keep it up, but I don't know if it's going to stay up, so hopefully you can see that. There's all these little boxes of the different figures that, this is a 25th anniversary box, but even the one in the 80s or card back would have the different figures that were coming out. This one is 25th anniversary show. They were showing the figures that were coming out or had already come out, and then they were giving little hints with these kind of silhouette looking figures right there. So in one of my fewer beginning videos, I was saying they weren't really doing that, and then a light kind of clicked in my head, and you can see that they are doing it, but they're doing it more with a diorama feel to it, because you still, instead of little boxes, you still have the different figures there out for the line. So we have Dusty here, we have a Alley Viper without any of his helmets, it looks like. Then we have Zartan, the figure we're talking about right now, and then possibly the driver for the Ostriker, or this is Sandstorm when he originally was going to come out. So they're still showing the figures, it's a different take on how they do that. So then we have nothing that's really like a file card. It's kind of like an ID badge, and then it kind of gives a little bit of the story on some of them and some information. I think this one for Zartan is better than some of the other ones. So it says Zartan. Zartan is a master of disguise who works for Cobra as a mercenary and covert agent. This expert mimic can impersonate anyone during the desert battle. He disguises himself as a desert native to slip behind enemy lines, then impersonates a G.I. Joe trooper to steal valuable battle information. Mission equipment is hand-forged steel wakizashi, is what I want to say it is. Swords. And I looked that up because I was trying to pronounce it right and everything. And from what I could find, that is basically like a katana, but it's smaller. It's not as long as a katana, and looks like it's not as sharp or as strong. So it's more of a blunt, short sword, is what I could find out. Then I guess we'll go ahead and bring the figure into view. So right here, very classic, still at the same time with what I would expect Zartan to look like, but still, does the, achieves the job of being that native that he's supposed to be disguised as. And some things are still kind of like, well, if they know who Zartan is, the tattoo on his face would kind of give that away. So kind of odd that that's still there. But it is a toy, and the other thing I wanted to show is with Zartan, even though this is a 25th anniversary Zartan, the disguise that he has now is a little bit better than what he was in the 80s, or even for the 25th anniversary. Because the idea was that you originally had, for the 80s one, it was just him with a mask, kind of like the ones you see here of Zartan and Duke, except for it was just supposed to be, again, just a drifter kind of person like he is in this incarnation for Pursuit of Cobra. And the idea was that he would be going and, doing all his bad stuff or whatever you want to say, and then to hide from the Joes, he would put this mask on his face that looked just like a mustached biker, I guess. And then his little bike here was a lot bigger and came in pieces and had a box that it towed and everything. And you would break down the pieces and make it look like he was just some drifter with like a box of junk or whatever. But you would still think, G.I. Joe is highly classified and, it's top of the top and all this kind of stuff. And yet they would be fooled just by a guy putting on a mask, and yet the rest of the costumes exactly the same. So when we get into the disguise later, you will see that going from Zartan as he looks here to his disguise is a little bit better than what he was like in the 80s or the 25th anniversary figure. So I guess the next thing we'll show is that all the figures come with, or at least all the single carded figures so far come with these stands. They're kind of updated 25th anniversary stands, and you can tell that because instead of saying 2009 or 2010, they say 2007. So basically the base of the stand is the same. Only difference is there's no code name this time, the actual words before their actual code name, and then also the stands have been updated by putting another peg here. Originally, the joke on one of the Hasbro Q&As was someone asked, why is it that the G.I. Joe ones had two pegs and these Cobra ones didn't? And they were saying it's easier for your Cobras to fall down, once they're being attacked. But thankfully they fixed that. You get a little bit better poses with that. So then we'll show the different accessories that you get to get his disguise. You have his kind of vest here that opens on the side here. Then you have the gun that's meant for his disguise. Kind of have a little satchel over the back bag here. A head of what originally was going to be a sandstorm. And you can move the goggles up and down or take them off completely. And then you have, I think that's all actually for the stand or for the disguise. But then Zartan does come with this hood here, and then we'll stop and go on to the second video. Alright, thanks. Bye.